FedEx full, we commanding the block. Burgundy and gold, got the city on lock. Hustling plays, ain't no need to pretend. DC reppin' strong and we fight to the end. Commanders moving, no breaks, no pause. Hands in the dirt, respecting the call. KDot in the mid, dissect the grind. District divider with a city in mind. Join the damn squad, don't miss a bit. And you gotta spread the words, or shit is shit. KDot.
Welcome, everyone, to District Divided, a DC Sports Podcast. More specifically, a Washington Commanders podcast. I am Amit. That is KDot. This episode, we got the All-22 review of the game against the Chicago Bears. That game, that Hail Mary, we're going to be talking about that. KDot has once again dove straight into the film and looked at all the angles for you, so we're going to get into that. We then are going to get into the Week 9 preview against the New York Giants. This would be an opportunity to sweep them for the first time in quite some time. So do we get that done? We'll have the offense against their defense, our defense against their offense, prediction, common mailbag after the pod, etc. But before we begin this episode, if you could please like the video, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell, comment as you always do, and KDot.
Bow those heads, people. Bow those heads. It is time for another passage out of the Gibbs Bible. Hail, Daniels, full of grace. The end zone is with thee. Blessed are we in the burgundy and gold, and blessed the arm that saved our soul. Jayden Brown, the play was lit. Now go forth and share that shit. Share it. Share.
That was beautiful.
Thank you.
Share this shit. Man.
I mean, it's beautiful, but only because we've been blessed with the word.
We have. We have. And my Gibbs Bible still hasn't arrived. I don't know why, but I think it's on back order. And I was like, I'm a co-host of the show. And they're like, sorry, we don't. It's for everybody.
Well,
so,
from my understanding, the printing is they do the same printing of the Gibbs Bible in the same factory they do the Trump Bible. Backlogs.
So there are plenty.
After next week, we should be good to go.
Yep, it should clear things up. All right, cool. So without further ado, share this shit, please. We greatly appreciate it. Now we go over to the All-22 review with our very own KDot.
It's the All-22 review on District Divided. Bitches!
All right, and here we go with the All-22 review. If you're not familiar, KDot has not 50, not 60, but 70 screens to be able to look at all the angles, understand every minute detail of every play. And this past week, the NFL actually put out a release saying, how about 120 angles this time for this game? Multiple languages if you want to listen to it that way, just because of the Hail Mary. Heard in Spanish, I heard it in French, heard it in Portuguese, heard it. It's fabulous. So KDot's done all of that for us. And without further ado, KDot, over to you.
Every angle, every position, flip it over, and do something else.
That's why it's everyone's favorite segment.
Like Ruby Red. All of them. All right. Cool. Offense. Look, I know we all know about the Hail Mary play. Like, I mean, how many times have you watched the Hail Mary play over the course of this week?
Oh gosh, I forgot who it is where he just keeps saying more. Yeah, that. So about 1,000 times.
It's been a lot, right? Yeah, it's like, so I think the Hail Mary play has been talked about ad nauseum, even on the last episode. I mean, everything was right there, right? Tyreek Stevenson of it all and everything. It's wonderful to go back through, but I specifically, when I was doing the All-22, I did not watch the Hail Mary play. I refused to watch the Hail Mary play. I've seen it enough. Don't need to see it from any other angles. Just, it was like, you got to learn something. Because I knew that if I started with the Hail Mary play, I'd just be on it.
Oh, you would just be
away. It would just be like, oh, I'm going to replay this. I got to replay it again. But if you spend any time on Twitter or any other part of the internet, you fucking there. But all right, offensively, we always like to start, or at least spend some portion of time on like Jayden Daniels and where he's at as far as his development, this, that, and the other. I can tell you this. This is my favorite Jayden Daniels performance so far this year. It wasn't the cleanest. The stat line wasn't the best. You take away that Hail Mary, it's like, okay, you had a day. But the adversity this fucker had to face all day long was something that showed me that, like, we got a dude, okay? Now, before I get into any of the breakdown as far as Jayden Daniels and, like, what it is he had to face with adversity, we got to start off with primarily the fucker was hurt, right? Yep. He had the rib injury. It, like, you go through an entire week of not practicing, at least fully. And like you said, the before the game, you were saying, well, I'm not sure what the simulation might do a lot there for him. I guess it was doing a lot for him because of how good he looked in the sense of when he was playing the fucking game. Like, to be able to do everything he's doing as a rookie, not practicing for a full fucking week, is nuts to me when you got into the actual game flow. And what I saw more than anything was that, and I know I alluded to this in the post game, is that it felt as though Jayden was like doing everything, and there was like everybody else was kind of letting him down. And there was some of that during the game. It was not just within the scheming and the playing and everything. Like, look, Trent Scott, look, it's tough, right? You get Lucas go down, Coleman's not playing, you get the new kid that comes out. He didn't have the best day, but it goes into one of those things where it's like Jayden did not necessarily have the cleanest pockets to throw from. He didn't have the most time that he had to throw from. What I was concerned with, what I was actually looking at, is he got hit more than I thought he did during this game.
Yeah. He took some hits, man.
he was feeling it. He was.
They were, by the way, they were aware of the rib injury. You could tell from the way that they were hitting him, was like, try and make him hurt.
They were mean. They were mean about it. There's no getting around that. But but like, that was the thing, was like, there were so many times where he had to be Superman to like get us out of certain situations. Like, you look at this particular game, one thing that was very clear, the drops. There were so many more drops in this game compared to any other games, right?
Yep.
McLaurin, Brown, Ertz, Eckler, all of them. You get the Ertz touchdown. It wasn't a touchdown. Like, there's so many of those things where it's like, man, he delivered the ball right where to see a ball go right through Terry McLaurin's hands is like, damn, that doesn't fucking happen. Like, that's weird.
Right.
So I don't know what it was with the rest of the team that just looked as though, surprisingly, the most composed person might have been our hurt quarterback.
The guy playing his 8th game.
Right.
Seventh. Because,
so
yeah.
It's not the best look. Okay. It's not the best thing, but like, it gives you faith that, like, okay, maybe this is not going to be something we're going to see from these guys. They just had an off day. Remember, everything was kind of high, right? Like, there was a lot of intensity and everything in this game. There was a lot of people were building it up. I know that you got a lot of the fans, Bears fans, like guys like Adam Rank that don't want to admit what the fuck happened. Like, you got a lot of people that were like building up all this shit that was going on in the game. So I don't know. Maybe it was just nerves, at least to some degree. I'm not sure. I cannot talk to exactly what it was that they were kind of losing composure on certain things that we usually see as automatic. Then, of course, you got the penalties, right? So, like, you get the De'Ami Brown 24-yard pass, dime. Then would have set them up for goal to go. What happens? Allegretti, too far downfield, shit gets called back. You get another one. The Zacchaeus touchdown. That gets fucking called back. This time it's Cosmic. So, like, it's this shit that's like, fuck. Like, Jayden's doing it. It's just, what are you doing, guys?
And if I may, on the Cosme ineligible man downfield, you could make the case that ends the game the way that the defense was playing against their offense, which we'll get to, of course, and that would have made it 16-0 after the extra point. So go ahead.
And that's not it. You get the other one, which was the early snap from Biotic,
right,
where you can see, and it's very clear, Jayden's trying to audible. He's trying to change the play. There is some stuff that's there on the field, and then the early snap happens, it's fucking over. And it's like, God damn it. Like, you look at any one of those things. If any one of those things doesn't happen, the entire outlook of the game completely looks different, right? Now, that being said, not only did not one of them happen, all of those things happen, which speaks to something larger. That's a problem. Like, that is an issue. Like, if it's one case of it, it's like, all right, whatever. But this is something where I'm hoping the coaches were drilling into it, or whatever it is they need to get the guys to play with more consistency. When you got your rookie quarterback back there doing everything he possibly can do, what the fuck are you doing? Like, what are you doing? Like, what are you doing to be there for him? That's ridiculous. And I think this is a team, if you look from the top down, this is a team that holds themselves with accountability. Not really talking about the defense, but I don't know if you got to see Joe Witt's press conference here on Thursday, where dude was basically like, he looked, if it wasn't for the Hail Mary, he might have murdered somebody. Like,
I love Joe Witt. That's what I want to say. He's amazing.
Look, I pulled like 4 clips of Joe Witt's press conference, and I was going to play at least some of them here. And I realized, no, go watch his presser. If you want to talk about it from an accountability standpoint, you got to fucking watch it. When you find out that he wasn't even really looking at the Hail Mary because he had to walk away and saw outside because he was so pissed that they gave up the fucking score. Like, he's like,
I love that.
That's the kind of shit you want. So when you hear stuff like that, I don't expect I don't expect this particular team to play as sloppy 2 weeks in a row. I don't see that happening. Now, whether or not Scott can do what it is he needs to do, I mean, that's a whole other thing. But we'll get into that when we look at the injury report and shit like that. So you get Jayden as far as that goes. But then also little things that you're seeing in Jayden's game that's like just looks better. Little thing. He does this bit now where not only is he looking off defenders, which is just dope, right? Like anytime you get to see that, I know some people this year have been talking about that's a little overrated, whatever. Fuck you. You could see defensive backs.
The best QBs do it.
They do it all the time. But he's added another wrinkle, which is this slight twitch thing he does. And he did it a couple times. He had one where he did Terry. It's not a full pump fake, but he squares his shoulders like he's gonna make the throw and does a little. And you see, it's not even that much, but you see a defender actually stop dead in his track. They bite immediately. And as soon as he knows exactly where he's going. Like he knows where he's going whether he's making the twitch move. Those are the things that you start seeing in this game. It's like, all right, man, he's adding another complexity to it. He's adding another complexity to it, which is dope. From a Cliff Kingsbury standpoint, this was by far the best play action game that we've had this entire season. And I kept referring to like, I can't wait until they introduce more play action. I can't wait until they introduce more play action. And they're fucking doing it. The shit that he was doing out of like 12 and 21 personnel with stuff in motion that we have seen for like 2 or 3 weeks straight, where it's like, it's clearly going to be a run either this way or that way. Like there's out of this particular formation, there's a run that's going to happen one of like 3 ways. And you see Chicago reading it perfectly. You could see that they did their due diligence as far as the game tape. But you know what Cliff said? Play action this time, bitch. And it was fucking dope. And the shit was working. Like you could see Jayden could drive the ball down the field. He could do whatever, right? There was a lot of that during this game. We were moving the ball. You look at his stats. We were moving the fucking ball. Now, what happens in the red zone? We talk about the penalties. We talk about the miscues.
Yep.
On top of that, there is something fundamentally with the team itself that gets us into these really weird situations, which we've alluded to week in and week out. This team is best when we can get in the right down and distance to elevate and open up the playbook for everything, right? Our best thing is we're so unpredictable with what we're going to do offensively that it doesn't allow defense to really get their bearings on anything. If you have the penalty that happens and it puts you in a situation where like, all right, well, you can't run now. Like you can't do that. It limits the playbook quite a bit. But also the way that we run things, there's a lot of, you talk about certain concepts of the air raid as far as like getting guys spread out to kind of like push dudes and like really get a lot of things going on all different sides of the field where you don't know what the fuck is happening. When you get into the red zone, things are limited. Like you can't run the same routes that you'd be running if you had 50 yards of fucking space to do so, right?
Yeah.
And you're talking about when you get down to the red zone, what should be the strength of this team, hand the ball to fucking Brian Robinson and just pound it in the fucking end zone. But once again, if you're behind because there's a penalty, if you're behind because there's a sack, if you're behind because of any one of those things early on, you can't run with Robinson now. You're not going to run with Robinson on a 3rd and fucking 8 when you got fucking goal to go. You can't do that.
So if I could ask a question, because Brian Robinson started the game off like a man on fire, right? Because I remember watching the first and second drive and going, oh, we're going to kill these guys. Like it was very much, we can run like we talked about in the preview episode. And then all of a sudden you see his final stat line of something along the lines of 16 carries for 65 yards. Now, was that us shooting ourselves in the foot? Did Chicago make an adjustment? What happened there?
It's mostly us shooting ourselves in the foot. It's once again, getting in those down and distances where you can't do it. Right. But once again, when you talk about the pluses that were made in the play action game is where you're like, okay, this is one of those rare situations where you could have probably run a bit more, but you were getting down the field effectively another way. And it was playing off of the run, right? So, like, there was opportunity to do that. But when Robinson should have been getting the most carries was in those red zone situations. But because of the miscues, we couldn't feed him the way that we needed to, right? So, like, and then you look at another thing that I don't think it gets brought up enough was how many drives started so far back for us we had to move all the way down the field.
Well, yeah, we tied a record in the past few years, actually.
I think I wrote it down. I'm not
5
sure.
Inside our own
5 drives to start within the 10 of our within the 10-yard line. That is fucking nuts. And the amount of times that we were able to drive in the field goal range is an accomplishment of itself when you're talking about how far you have to go, right? So, like, it's just, there needs to be more consistency to finish these things out. You got a quarterback that's a rookie that you would think at this particular point might be the one holding you back. He wasn't. He wasn't at all.
if I could summarize what I feel I'm hearing here, KDot. So I saw the stat line: 21 of 38, 326 yards, the Hail Mary touchdown, which, mind you, that is the best day just about that anybody had against this Bears defense.
Yep.
Okay. But, we're used to the high completion percentage. It sounds like there were a lot of miscues by others that could have lent itself to tougher throws, to tougher situations that then results in a 21 of 38. For example, is that fair to say? Because it sounds like 5 was playing as well as he could, all things considered.
Yes.
Did well.
Yeah, no, I'd agree with that.
Okay.
Like, if I'm looking at the Chicago Bears, the defense looks good for the majority of the fucking game. Like, I'm not going to take anything away from them. You're not seeing what you saw in, like, the Panthers game at all in this particular game, right? You can see it even at certain points, Chicago starts doing stuff with, they drop their safeties back. You can tell early on they want to stop the run. But once they start getting eat up with the fucking play action, like, okay, let's drop some guys back and, like, let's take away the deep throws. Jayden, to his credit, said, okay, cool. I'll take what you're giving me. I can do that. Now, don't get me wrong. There was every once in a while, it didn't look anywhere near like Caleb, but there were some balls that weren't the most accurate that came out of Jayden's hands from that standpoint.
Yeah.
But once again, the amount of adversity that he was facing, the rib injury that he had, the fact that he was getting walloped so many fucking times, I could forgive them because there were so many plays that usually I'm frustrated with, like, hey, you had a guy open, like, take the shot. He was doing it. He was doing it without forcing it or trying to turn the fucking ball over. And you got to give him credit for that. But Cliff, great job. It's just what we need to do to make sure from a mental standpoint that we're getting in the right rhythm to be consistent. There's another aspect of it with, and this is something that we got to kind of figure out, which is that the communication pre-snap, you can still see Jayden frustrated with getting the play in more. You can still see maybe there is some sort of communication issue with, like, what's happening with them doing personnel stuff.
Took an early timeout in the second half, for example.
Right.
Yeah.
Extremely frustrating shit. I'm not entirely sure what that's about. I don't know if it's the crowd noise. I don't know if there's entirely way too many distractions. I don't know if Cliff needs to go upstairs in the booth. I'm not entirely sure. But that sort of shit, it's something that we've seen all year, and it's something by now they should have cleaned up more than it is.
Okay, that's fair. And so 5 played a very good game, all things considered, and then it sounds like Cliff is thinking a step ahead when we talk about the play action stuff that the Bears may have seen on tape to prepare for this game, and we're actually going an extra layer to catch them off guard. That's great. And that's the offensive side of things.
And that's the thing. And imagine now that you've added the play action wrinkle, you can go back to just running.
Yeah,
like
exactly.
There's so many things you can do. Yeah.
Right. And so that's the offensive side of the ball. Any final thoughts before we flip to the defense?
Nope, we can flip it.
Let's go ahead and flip it. So what did you see on the defensive side of the ball where, honestly, KDot, I felt quite encouraged by what I saw. And then the fourth quarter, of course, it gets tougher and tougher. But what did you see?
First and foremost, I'm going to shout out 2 people in particular. Number 1, B-Wags, Bobby Wagner. You're the fucking man. We talk about communication pre-snap. We talk about guys getting in line. You could see, I couldn't see this as much on the All-22, but I did do a condensed rewatch of the game, which shout out to NFL where you could do that and like watch the entire game in less than an hour. He's communicating quite a bit. You see him walking around. He's touching this guy. He's doing it. Like, get there, go do this. Fucking just looking at one dude like, hey, and, all right, cool. I gotta fucking do that. Bobby, captain of that fucking defense. It's showing that veteran fucking presence right there. I'm hoping every one of these players afterwards got a fucking clipboard or something, and they're learning what the fuck it is that he's seeing, because when he goes off to go get his gold jacket sometime soon, if anyone can even get close to replicating what he's doing on that defense, it'll be something fucking special. Now, number 2 guy that got to be singled out, and I know you're going to love this motherfucker, Johnny Newton. God damn.
Go. That's what I was hoping for.
Damn.
He good, huh? Ain't he good?
Yeah, we get ourselves again. Newton's a fucking problem. Okay?
Yep. Yeah, no, he's healthy too now. Because again, he played with like a Liz Frank basically last season in Illinois. So he good now.
Fast. Now, earlier in the season, you saw the speed. You can see the speed from Newton. When you see Newton on tape, even in the limited runs that he had earlier on this season, when they were kind of rotating him in and out and trying to get, as he was getting healthy or whatever, right? There was too much reliance on the speed. He was doing what he could do to try to get. I need to get off this block. I need to get downfield. I need to get downfield. And a lot of times when you're doing that, you either ran past the rush or you got a quarterback that can step up or up to the side, and now you're out of the fucking play.
Right.
Looks great. Fantastic. You beat your dude. That's not what the play needed, right? What you saw from him in this particular game was a combination of everything you need from the position. Not only was the speed there, and you could see it in those moments where they need to get pressure up, he could do it. His hand movements. Fucking get the fuck out of here.
He's got a lot of moves. Yeah,
Dude's got moves. But what was special this time was that he also introduced that power game to his game. Sometimes you don't need to get 5 yards back beyond the line of scrimmage, right? What you need to do is stay here, get your guys engaged, get them right there with bull rush, or just occupy it and let your Bobby Wagner or your Frankie Luvu make the fucking play.
Mm-hmm.
Newton's a dog.
And if I could on Newton, I think so. Something I had mentioned, but I think you were very quick to agree, KDot. So if you guys remember in the NFL draft, we took him at 36, and people are like, well, we have Jonathan Allen, we have Daron Payne. Like, why is this the pick? We need an offensive lineman. Remember, we were talking about left tackle the whole time. When you get a guy who should have gone in the top 20 and has the motor that he does, and also a captain, we said, both of us, that he was going to push Payne and Allen to be better, and he was going to make an instant impact once healthy. And now we're seeing it. So I'm very, very happy to hear that Johnny Newton had himself a day.
Yeah, and not only just from the physicality standpoint, you could also see just the way he was reading stuff that was happening. You see how many Chicago screens that they were putting up. Newton's like, I don't need to tackle you. I'm just going to take away the guy you want to throw the fucking football to.
He did. Yeah. Caleb couldn't throw it. Bang.
Sorry. Yeah, ran out of time. I'm attacking you now. There were moments in the game that he absolutely like a 5-year vet, and you're like, wow, I'm gonna miss you, Jonathan Allen.
He played a great game.
Great fucking game. So you got all that shit. I mean, like, the stat line at the end of 3 quarterback hits, 3 tackles, and a fumble recovery. And one of those tackles for loss should have actually been a sack. I think
it became a sack.
It became a sack. Okay, yeah. I didn't follow that up completely.
Actually, Jayden Daniels broke that news, funnily enough, at his presser.
Fantastic.
On Wednesday.
Fantastic. Fan-fucking-tastic. So Newton, dog. Now, what you had when it came to the secondary in this particular game, also some things that you could say, okay, we're moving in the right direction. In man coverage, we left our guys in man. Hey, do what you got to do. And you can see just pure technique, where they're standing as far from a leverage standpoint, things like that, muddied things for Caleb Williams. The game plan and what they did defensively was phenomenal. There were so many more complexities on the defensive line than we've seen at any point this season. You could see that they knew rookie quarterback were going to confuse the fuck out of them. The amount of times that we had our DNs drop back into coverage and bring the linebackers instead. There were so many things that were pre-snap, and I got to give the defense credit. They stayed disciplined and not telegraphing what it is they were doing before the snap. So from an athleticism standpoint and everything, I'm kind of proud of these guys from being able to, because a lot of times, like, you want to sell to make sure you're not going to get beat, right? So, like, if you know you're going to drop back in coverage, you're kind of like, I gotta make sure. No, right. Fuck that. They stayed where it is they need to stay, and they did what they need to do. And when they were in the zone coverage, I got to give credit to the defensive backs as far as getting in position to make surefire tackles when they needed to. The only time it ever looked bad, and depending on if you want to do the penalty game or what the refs were doing, that DeAndre Swift touchdown, that was a little rough. But beyond that, they did a pretty good job overall. So yeah, just the complexities of the defense. The defense is you can see the defensive coaches are trusting the guys on the defense more, and the defensive guys are doing things that are worthy of that trust. And we've got to continue on that trajectory. Now, with all that being said, Caleb Williams through those final 2 drives in the fourth quarter was absolute dog shit. He couldn't get right. Now, I have tons of issues with what it is that Matt Eberflus or Shane Waldron in particular are doing with the offense in Chicago. Mm-hmm. You could tell that whatever we say even pre-draft. I already feel bad for Caleb because I know he'll be on his second offensive. The
situation is tough for him. That he's not good.
Yep. It's not good. When you saw those 2 drives, you saw what made Caleb special. You see what it is. The people that are big fans of Caleb are like, that's why you want to
improv, the escapability. Yeah.
You can't leave him vanilla. There's so much vanilla shit happening that, like, you can't. And Caleb couldn't. You can see rookie quarterback. I don't trust what I'm seeing. I'm holding on the ball too long. and then just outright just missing shit. And there was no excuse for that. There wasn't like pressure or anything, but just missing shit. So there was an element of that that's just kind of like, eh. Also defensively, as much as I'm giving them credit for what it is that happened, I will also say there were some things that were open that Caleb could have absolutely taken advantage of, and he didn't do it. And when you look at that, you're like, okay, if you play the exact same game that they had, which stat line and everything, great.
Mm-hmm.
I do not see the same output or the same result if it's Joe Burrow, if it's Dak Prescott.
Oh, for sure.
Kirk Cousins.
For sure. Yeah.
They would have diced them up just a bit. And I don't know what those adjustments would have looked like for us, so maybe we can counter it. But a lot of what happened with us in the success defensively had a lot to do with them
playing a rookie quarterback at home. Yeah. A lot
so
of
like
that makes sense.
My final thing on anything as far as the All-22 and just overall, the Bears are stupid. They're just stupid. I'm not going to say they're not talented. Like when I look at the Carolina Panthers, not only are they stupid, they're not talented. The Chicago Bears are fucking dumb. They're just dumb. Like there was a lot of the DeAndre Swift stuff. I'm like, you guys could have done more of that, and maybe there would have been more success. You weren't down that badly. Just fucking keep up with it. Mm-hmm. They had a lot of the same issues that we had, which was shoot themselves in the foot, penalties at the inopportune time, and it took them out of the run game, even though it was effective. Even if you take the 56-yard run out of DeAndre Swift's gallop, he still averaged over 4 yards of carry. There was success there. They just couldn't sustain any of it because of how messy they were fucking playing. But just the botch goal line carry where they gave it to fucking Kramer,
loved it.
Stupid. Letting the Commanders get the outright to Terry before the Hail Mary, fucking stupid.
Loved it.
The lack of timeout before the Hail Mary, also fucking stupid.
Loved
and then
it.
the Tyreek Stevenson whole thing, which just goes to what the fuck are you guys teaching? All very stupid shit.
Sure.
I don't expect most NFL teams to be as dumb as they were.
Yeah, no, that's fair. And now for them, they've got the hardest schedule in the NFL remaining. So that's how important the game was for them, right? So to lose in that fashion, we'll see what happens to them moving forward.
Cool.
And for us, we're 6-2.
It'll be it. So Caleb is going to start bitching on the sidelines. I'm not going to blame him. People are going to blame him and say that he's being a diva. I don't agree. This is a bad staff. I'm sorry. It's bad. The game plan is bad. Get them the fuck out of here. I give them credit as far as Eberflus on some of the aspects of the defense. I will. I have to. But offensively, the Shane Waldron pickup, who has a good resume, I just don't know what they're doing philosophically.
Yeah, and actually, on that note, I know we're a Commanders podcast, but real quick, they didn't do a first 15. You know that a typical thing to do is have a script to start a game? They didn't do that for the first two games. It wasn't until Caleb's third game that they started doing a first 15, which is, it's crazy. So, but it also goes to show how important it is, how thankful I am, right? They had Cliff Kingsbury in their building, and he's with us now, which is great. So that's how important coaching is. As we know, this game probably won with coaching versus them. So
no doubt.
Yeah. Well to say. So those are the final thoughts right there.
Those are it. We can
all right.
All-22.
Perfect. And that was the All-22. Thank you so much for that, KDot. And now on to the injury report.
It's the All-22 review on District Divided Bitches!
All right. Oh, smooth transition, by the way, KDot. Appreciate that. Once again, that was the All-22 review with KDot. Thank you for the breakdown. And now on to New York. We are on the road this week. Feels like it's been a little bit of time. Last time we were on the road was against the Baltimore Ravens. And so we find ourselves on the road here in week 9. And so we begin with the injury report, as we always do, to set the context for the game. So you can see quite clearly, thank you, KDot, that Clelin Ferrell was limited with a knee injury, did not practice on Thursday. So that's definitely something you're going to want to monitor. Then Cornelius Lucas exited the game against the Chicago Bears, hasn't practiced, not on track to play. Frankie Luvu, not practicing for 2 days in a row. It's interesting. We're very hopeful he can play, but that's not a good sign, obviously. A bunch of limiteds, including Jayden Daniels. Assume he plays. Brandon Coleman being upgraded to full. That's great news. Hopefully he can clear concussion protocol and be able to play. And Terry McLaurin full over there. Now, if we look at the New York Giants, only a couple guys that have not been practicing. And it's a wide receiver in Bryce Ford Wheaton that hasn't really done a whole lot, at least on the offensive side of the ball, maybe in special teams. And exactly. Exactly. Now, hey, starting punter, not practicing. I don't know. Matt Hack, I believe, is the backup. So we'll see what happens there. Whole bunch of limiteds, and a full name to pay attention to in particular amongst the limiteds is going to be Tyrone Tracy, who has been very, very good since we played them, because he didn't play that much against us. It was Devin Singletary primarily. Since then, Tyrone Tracy's been doing a great job for them on offense. And so that's the injury report over there. Thank you, KDot. And why don't we go ahead and start, as we always do, with the Commanders offense, led by Jayden Daniels, coordinated by Cliff Kingsbury, against this New York Giants defense. So, KDot, I throw it over to you. How would you attack these guys? Remember the last time we played them, it was 7 field goals. Austin Seibert, player of the game, did his thing in his debut. But how would you attack them this time around?
What do you think I'm going to say? It's a theme.
Run the ball!
Run the goddamn ball! All right? Run the ball! Run it! Run the ball!
Yeah.
Easy offense! Ah. What's that say?
5 stars on everything. It's fun.
Everything. Should be able to do whatever fucking it is we want to do, right? QB scrambles, deep passing, rushing out a shotgun, the overall rushing efficiency, overside. Do whatever you want to. Right? Just make sure you do it. Execute. That is the name of the game. Execution. We saw what happened the first time. And what's crazy is we're coming off of what we just saw with all the fucking field goals last week.
Right.
Finish, fuckers. Finish. Okay? Like, if you're gonna look, here's the other thing we got to put in context with the last Giants game, right? They lost their kicker early on in that fucking game. If they were able to kick field goals,
I think we're 0-2. Yeah.
So guys, like, finish. These 3 points are not enough. Shout out to Austin Seibert. Love you, bro. You dope as shit. But no. Finish. And especially because of certain aspects of what the Giants defense can do, okay? As far as their rushing defense, it's fucking trash. They give up the most yards per carry in the league, 5.4. You're going to have your opportunities to run the fucking football. They're going to try to do everything they can to sell out on that because, look, usually they're able to do a pretty good job as far as certain aspects of pass defense. They lead the league in sacks.
35.
And we talked about it when we did the week 2 preview. They got guys. Burns is not a nobody. Thibodeau is not a nobody. Dexter Lawrence is clearly not a fucking nobody, right? I wonder who's doing the commentary. I wonder if we got to deal with any sexual shit. But all right, beyond that.
Forgot about that.
but if we're looking at like what this Giant, look, you can't overlook any team in the NFL. The Giants are not necessarily, but you're talking about a division opponent, one that almost beat us and would have probably beat us if they had a fucking field goal kicker, right? So right. When you're looking at this particular game and you look at like what it is that have been struggles for Washington, is if we get in those down in distances where we're forced to be one-dimensional and that running element gets eliminated and you're trusting Jayden Daniels to constantly have to pick up the first down by scrambling on fucking third down and he's constantly getting fucking hit or whatever the fuck, that's not the recipe for success for us. It cannot happen. And look, this is a Giants team that on those first and second downs, we decide that we want to drop back and throw it, they can get there. And if we're like, they can do it. It's like, you don't want to be in a situation where you're looking at like a 2nd and 12, a 2nd and 14, and then you got to try to make that shit up over the course of the game. If we're reliant on Jayden to constantly get us out of the bad situation that overall we put ourselves in, it's not a recipe for success.
Yeah, this is a very big game, not only because it's a divisional game, but because we're getting into a territory where we need to make sure we maintain our identity. And so when we talk about what we do, it is running the ball. We're one of the best rushing offenses in the NFL. And it just so happens, I know we say it every week, run the ball. It does a couple things. It protects Jayden Daniels first and foremost, because you could just hand it off. Boom, we're good. You should be able to get some chunk yardage, get to the 2nd and 5, 2nd and 4, etc. What it also does is allow you to maintain time of possession. If we start getting in the habit of what KDot just broke down for us in the All-22, where 5 is playing hero ball, we're in trouble. Okay. And so now it just so happens we're going against the worst rush defense. So you have to make sure you're able to. Makes life much easier for a quarterback who, once again, limited on the injury report. So he's still battling through the injury for us, which is great. But You want to be able to help them out because after this, we got the Pittsburgh Steelers coming off a bye, man. That's going to be a really physical game. So you want to make sure that you're able to do these things because while the Giants do give up 71% of completion percentage, it's a bend don't break defense. With that 71%, it's not a whole lot going to wide receivers. They haven't allowed a 100-yard receiver yet this season. They've played Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, Terry McLaurin, right? They've played guys, DK Metcalf. They've played all these guys. None of them have gone over 100 yards. So you need to make sure you're able to run tight ends. They erase them so far. They've been good against tight ends. So the opportunities here exist with running backs, of course, running them out of the backfield as well. This could be Austin Eckler. This could be Brian Robinson. Quarterback running as well. Curious to see how that's handled. I think a lot of that's going to depend on how Jayden's feeling, but they get after you. He's going to take some hits in this game. Just be mentally prepared for that. This defensive line is no joke, as we know. So where you can, run the ball. Just run the damn ball. Go ahead, KDot.
Got 2 fun facts. Fun fact number 1. Brian Robinson has recorded a plus 67 rushing yards over expected on inside rushes this season.
It's awesome.
The 5th most in the NFL. Robinson recorded 10 carries for 109 yards at 10.9 yards per carry and plus 74 rushing yards over expected on inside rushes against the Giants in week 2. The most RYOE on such carries by a running back in a game this season. The most. The Giants have allowed plus 163 rushing yards over expected inside carries this season. It's the most in the NFL. Get your opportunities.
It's married. That's a good thing for us. It's a bad thing for them. Do the thing. Just do the thing. It should be a big Brian Robinson day. I completely
Another weird fun fact that I saw on Twitter, and I did not verify whether that's true, but it sounded good. Tyler Beardash, as Gruden likes to say, has never in his career given up a sack to Dexter Lawrence.
That's crazy. That's crazy. We're going to go ahead and roll with that being true because it sounds amazing. That is incredible. That is absolutely incredible. Big if true. That is, wow. I did not know that. So that's going to be running the ball. And then, of course, I mean, doesn't mean don't throw it at all, obviously. Like, you need to be able to balance it. Of course, you got to be able to. Still want to see more Luke McCaffrey. Just a wish of mine. And I know a wish of yours as well. It would be great to get him going in this type of game, especially, again, if they're not allowing 100-yard receivers. This is a game where you're going to distribute the ball a whole lot. That's fine. You know, whatever it takes to move the sticks. But Luke McCaffrey still doing great in his separation numbers. Would love to see him get involved. That's all I'm saying. It's just a want. It's just a wish.
There's one person I blame for that. And I don't want to blame him for anything because he's Jesus. But
no, you're not.
Jayden fucking Daniels needs to throw the guy down with McCaffrey.
Hang on. Maybe now that we've established that
he's
number 5 is a 10-year vet, maybe the rookie Luke McCaffrey needs to do a little more. Okay.
What? All right. This is where it gets down to it. This is just something sidebar philosophically. There's a reason why wide receivers are the diva position. It's in these moments that I'm like, Luke, go over the sideline, call him.
Go be a diva.
Just go.
He will be crucified.
Right.
Are you kidding me? If there's any sideline footage of him saying anything to Jayden, you have an entire DMV region going,
over.
Nope.
No, Luke, nope. I know. You can't do it. But this is why receivers become divas. Is it like, dude, throw me the fucking ball.
They still got breakfast together? Weren't they doing those like sessions and stuff like that?
That's what I'm surprised by. Is like, I just think, but what I actually do think, and this is a good thing, is that as the season has progressed, Terry's his guy. And that's good.
That was
Terry
needed.
should be his guy. Right?
That was needed.
We need Terry to be the guy. And Zach Ertz being his secondary guy is also a good thing. You love to have the tight end be your safety valve. Tight end as your safety valve is an amazing thing to have. They usually got the best matchups. And if you got one that's athletic, they can turn something small into something big all the time. So like, it's just gonna take more and more time. But it's gonna be one of those times where like, if we get one of those situations where you got to shut down corner, like if they had Johnson just trailing Terry the entire fucking game, then you maybe have some opportunities that open up for like a Luke McCaffrey. It's gonna be one of those times. I really do think it's gonna be all in one game. I think like you're going to have the one game where he goes from like barely doing anything to having a monster game. Then the tides have changed.
You know how I would honestly open this game, KDot? Because you got me thinking about Cliff, one step ahead, etc. You just mentioned the fun facts as well. Almost play action and throw one over the top to Terry or Diami. Because if you hit that, Well, now everything's available to you because then all of a sudden they're off balance. I think it's worth a shot at the very beginning of the game to one of these guys just to keep them off balance.
I mean, it's the other part of it is that, like, usually we talk about the time possession game and all that kind of stuff, and that's all good stuff. If you talk about complementary football, but this is actually one of the situations that we're about to transition over to the other side of the ball, where if you can jump out to a lead when it comes to the Giants and force Daniel Jones to become kind of one-dimensional and maybe start hitting him a few times, things like that, this game can get way out of reach for these guys.
And so why don't we go ahead and flip the script and talk about the Commanders defense, who have been really good statistically these past 4 weeks against this New York Giants offense. And so, as KDot had mentioned, if you can get a lead on these guys, well, then all of a sudden it's the Daniel Jones show. And historically for us, that's not necessarily been a good thing, but it's still ultimately Daniel Jones. And now that they've racked up more losses, confidence changes for the teams. As good a time as any to make that happen. So, KDot, how would you approach this matchup as the Commanders defense?
So, number one is the Tyrone Tracy thing, which from what I understand, picking up some of the Giants media, it looks like he's probably on track to play as far as where he's at in the concussion protocol.
They're definitely trying because he's been a revelation for them.
He's been legit. But I mean, there's no getting around. The last time we played them, they moved the ball on us. Like, Devin Singletary had a pretty good game. Daniel Jones, stat line didn't look gangbusters, but he had 2 touchdowns, no interceptions, threw for some good yards. Once again, if they had a field goal kicker, game looks different, and we think about it differently. It gets contextualized entirely differently, right? So, yeah, this is one of those things where, like, look, Daniel Jones is a dude that if you can get your hands on him, if you can rattle him around, if he can feel the fucking pressure, he's not a good quarterback. Like, the thing is that, like, look, there's some dumb luck, which I don't want to call luck because it feels like it takes away some of the onus of, like, what these guys are doing. I'll put it to you this way. Daniel Jones has the tools of an absolute NFL quarterback. He can throw the fucking ball. He can run when he needs to. Underratedly, he's like the same size as Josh Allen, which I don't think people talk about enough. Like, he can fucking bulldoze if he fucking
He's quick.
needs to.
Yeah.
And he's quick too.
Over here. Yeah.
He can be a playmaker. It looks dumb sometimes. It looks like all shucks Eli Manning, like you just kind of going through fucking Barney Fifing and shit. But like there is an element of like he has the tools necessary to make the fucking throws. And if you're looking at his pass catchers, Malik Neighbors is a fucking dude. Wendell Robinson will make you fucking pay. And Darius Slayton on those looking deep he will fucking also cost you some shit, okay? If you don't play consistently, even if you're doing what it is you need to do, he's going to hit some of these things. It'll look dumb. It'll look like, what the fuck just happened? He'll hit. He's going to hit him. He always does. He hits some plays every once in a while. And not usually necessarily touchdowns, right? But he'll get you out of like a 3rd and 15 on some fluke shit just because he's got the ability to do so and he's got playmakers that he's throwing the fucking football to. Right. But what you want to do if you lay your hands on it is the variance in shit goes off the fucking charts for him if you start laying your hands on him. I don't know if you saw last week when they were playing Pittsburgh. It's the first time I saw him lose his shit. He was screaming, "What the fuck are we doing? What the fuck are we doing?" I've never seen that from Daniel Jones. Never seen that from Daniel Jones. I didn't know he had that in him. It's same like seeing Eli Manning fucking start cursing somebody. Like, what? Like it felt out of character. But this is where he's frustrated. And he's frustrated because the variance of play is like it's fucking all over the place when you start fucking hitting him. Everyone, he'll start throwing shit. You're like, what the fuck are you looking at? What are you doing? And every once in a while, he'll hit something spectacular looking. But you want that variance. Yeah.
No, you definitely do. And it's a really interesting spot from the macro perspective for Daniel Jones specifically. So if you know anything about his contract, he's got an injury guarantee. And the Giants are beginning to play with fire a little bit there because they're continuing to play him. But I think he knows that. I think he knows that there's a short leash on him, and he might be playing for his Giants career here if he wasn't already, right? Yeah. Because now we're getting to the point where this Sunday, depending on how it goes, could be his last game as a New York Giant. So that maybe explains some of that urgency, some of that losing it against Pittsburgh, that what the fuck are we doing? Because he is literally playing for his job potentially this week. So that's where that's coming from. Interesting stat about Daniel Jones, KDot. He has hit 100 passer rating or higher in 3 games this season. Against us, exactly 100. The Cleveland Browns, 109.4, and the Seattle Seahawks, 109.6.
You might have my fun fact. All right, let's see.
The fun fact is that they're all on the road. And for whatever reason, when he's at home, it just doesn't go as well. I don't know if he's just like, I'm at home, these fans kind of hate me. Like, I have no idea what it is. But the fact remains, he hasn't had a truly good game yet at home. Their wins.
You got the stat line?
Yeah.
0-6.
Yeah, exactly.
No touchdowns. Period.
So when you do that, like, of course there's going to be pressure on him, but I would also expect his back against the wall. I don't know what Daniel Jones we're going to get with that. So let's see what ends up happening. But that's just, I'm glad we had the same fun fact there, KDot. Utterly bizarre. Utterly bizarre. But that's what's going on. And then Tyrone Tracy, you got to stop him.
Sort of.
Go ahead.
Have you seen the way the Giants fans treat him?
No, I know. So, I mean, he probably hates him.
Like, you saw that they wait for him after the game to come out of the tunnel.
Yeah,
like,
I forgot about that.
Like, I'm like, on a human level, just a human
level.
That's shitty. Like, trust me, these guys get paid millions of dollars. Like, it all comes with the territory, and especially if you're going to be in a place like New York. But his sort of mentality in a place like New York, when he's not playing great, they are quick to get on his ass. Yeah. And they do it in ways in which, like, look, if we're ranking teams in our division that I hate to don't care about, the Giants are probably at the tail end of that. Like, I don't hate them with the same level of vitriol that I hate the other two, but just on a human level, I'm not going to say that I actually feel sorry for him.
I mean, if you follow, I mean, I know you do, but like our District Divided account, I'm constantly using it to defend Forbes, Davis, who's now practice squad with the Packers, etc. Just from the human level. It's like, God, like, it's not like they're actively screwing up. Like, you know, they're trying not to. They're trying their best.
There's no reason whatsoever you should be waiting waiting for this man
That's next
to
level.
Leave the game to just scream shit. I will say, last time I saw it, motherfucker was funny. It was like, you owe me $1 million of your money, Daniel. It was like, oh, God.
If you're gonna do it. No, I'm just like.
But look, this is, like you said, you don't know what it is when you got somebody backed up against the wall, especially a dude who historically has had a pretty good record against us. But haven't gotten to do this yet. Keys. We got this shit if we want it. This is on this team fully. This is about whether or not they can play consistently and execute and fucking finish offensively, finish. When it comes to defense, I don't want to hear about how much pressure they got on Daniel Jones. Hit that fucker. Hit him. Stats. Yeah. We are 7th in the league in sacks. They're 30th in defending against him. Hit his ass. Finish the fucking plays. I don't want to see that bullshit. I don't want to see him leak out and hit fucking Slayton 15 yards that turns into 50 yards because he's getting the fucking yak. No excuses. Consistency is key. And it's also been the thing that has been the most frustrating, I think. Once again, I'm very happy with where the team is. No doubt. I'm extremely happy where the fucking team is overall. I'm not really that angry about anything. But the one thing that has been frustrating for me is the lack of consistency throughout the season. There have been so many times where we just finish shit.
It's also got to be said, just on the flip side, right, while we're on the subject of Daniel Jones, and we both are in total agreement here, stop the run first and foremost to force this to happen, right? To have Daniel Jones be the one that has to beat you. At home, we have allowed a passer rating of 77.2 to Deshaun Watson, 44 to Andy Dalton, 59.5 to Caleb Williams, and a 100 to Daniel Jones. Okay, those are the four. So only one has hit 100. It was Daniel Jones. On the road, 146.4 to Baker Mayfield. It's week 1. I think you can throw that out as a brand new team. But then Joe Burrow, 127.5. Kyler Murray, 104.7. Lamar Jackson, 114.7. This team needs to prove they can do it on the road as well. It's been nice to be at home. It's been nice to have the home crowd, and that's what good defenses do. They're able to ride that energy. Great defenses perform on the road as well. You've got an opportunity here to take it to another level. Continue to develop, continue to build that chemistry in this spot against a very hungry New York Giants team, against a quarterback that is playing for his career. This is where you do it. So just wanted to point that out as well. We need to prove we can do it on the road, because these last 4 weeks, the only one that was on the road, Baltimore, and they did just about whatever they wanted over time. So it's important.
Goddamn right. Look, man, we have talked about this team and its development. We've talked about how when they have the bad teams they played against, the Carolina Panthers, the Cleveland Browns, they took care of business, right? You take care of business. This particular team, the Giants, have been a team for us the last few years that have been, regardless of where they're at, good or bad, they're the trap. They're the shit. They're not better than us.
No.
They're not. They're not better than us. You cannot let them stay in this fucking game. If you execute to the level at which this team is capable of executing, this should not be fucking close. I want them to take care of business in that way. I don't want to just win this fucking game. I want us to win this game with the Giants and the rest of the division knowing we are clearly better than these motherfuckers, and no longer will we be playing down to whatever it is that they're doing.
Yeah, no, I completely agree, because they have been our bogey team. Like, even in years we've done well, they have been our bogey team. So, KDot, let's go ahead and go over to the predictions, where once again, Giants 2-6, flip that record. That's us 6-2. We're on the road here. And the over-under, before I do the over-under, the spread, we're favored by 3.5 on the road. The over-under is 44.5. So as always, I need a score. I need a winner. And I need a player of the game.
We take care of this fucking thing. 30-14, Commanders fucking up. Give me a Brian Robinson monster fucking game. Run it down their fucking throat. I want all of our guys in the rushing field to have at least 50 fucking yards. I want Jayden to have his fucking take. I want Austin Eckler to have his. I want Jeremy McNichols to have his in garbage time. Run the fucking ball, beat their fucking asses, and on defense, maybe you get the fucking fluke shit in garbage time when we start pulling motherfuckers anyway. I don't give a shit. Beat these motherfuckers. We can do it. We can do it. Just do it.
All right. And so player of the game, Brian Robinson. I love that prediction, KDot, because it's one of those things where if everyone sees it coming and it happens anyway, that's excellent. And that's what a Brian Robinson game would do for us. I'm going to go Commanders 27, Giants 23. They've been a bogey team for us. I expect to win, but I expect it to be a bit of a tricky one. Again, we've got these guys on the ropes. They like seeing our uniforms historically. There's something to that psychologically.
No doubt.
I would much prefer your score line, but I think it's just going to be a bit closer. 27-23. My player of the game, also Brian Robinson. Defensively, I like Johnny Newton to have another really good game. That's what I'm looking for. To go back-to-back and go, hey, by the way, we're not thinking about Jonathan Allen because this rookie is playing so well. So I'm giving you a couple just because we tend to pick the running backs, but I like Johnny Newton to have another really nice game against the Giants.
What I say is that last time this team didn't execute the way they needed to was probably that Giants game.
Yeah.
And what do we do next week? Lit the fucking Bengals up because we usually make mistakes back to back.
2 weeks in a row. Right.
So like we're coming off of a game where we should have fucking finished and put them away and not rely on a fucking Hail Mary at the end of the game.
To be fair, we finished. I know what you mean. I know.
Not finishing enough, okay?
More finishing.
Get yours. I got mine. Did you get yours? I ain't going down there. You need go use a toy. Take care of yourself. I'm saying we need to finish multiple times over everything. All right? The back, the face, everywhere. Finish over all of it. From the windows to the walls, motherfucker. All of it.
Could have said it better myself, KDot. Why don't we go ahead and go to the bet of the week before we go to the comment mailbag? Over to you, KDot.
I'm feeling this. Give me your spread. Give me by 6. Beat these bitches. Beat them. Nah, fuck the line. I don't give a fuck about the spread.
That's awesome.
That shit. We're beating these bitches.
Beautiful. So that's Commanders -6 at plus 115 odds over there. KDot fired up. I fucking love it. And again, we would be sweeping the Giants if we were to win. This would be the first time we're 7-2 since 1996. That would be really, really cool.
All right. Get it done, because it won't happen in Pittsburgh, bitch. Get it done.
I know. I'm already worried about that. So let's focus on this one. Pittsburgh off and by is a bit scary. Why don't we go ahead and go over to the comment mailbag? But before we do, we've got to be introduced, because we weren't last time, by our very own Nikki.
Comment mailbag time, motherfuckers. The district divided, ain't got time for no suckers. Spread the word, get in line. OGs and new G's, it's your time. And spread the gospel, cause this shit is divine.
All right. Thank you for that. As always, Nikki, we missed you last time. Greatly appreciate it. And we're going to go ahead and begin with, man, this was a loaded comment mailbag. By the way, we hit 1,000 views on the last video. Thank you guys very much for that. Sounds like you're sharing that shit, which we greatly appreciate. Please continue to do so. And we begin with Prince Anubis shout out with a couple comments over here. First one, the Hail Maryland game is what we're going with over there. There've been a number of different names for it. There's also been Noah's Ark I've seen. Hail Noah. Have you liked any name in particular, KDot?
Noah's Ark is the one that I appreciate the most, even though it doesn't make sense.
Right, because it's technically
Jayden's
Ark, right?
I have not heard any nickname from this that I've loved. I can be completely honest. I'm just calling it our Hail Mary. And you know the reason I'm good with it being our Hail Mary? What other team uses hail as much as we fucking do?
Well, that's why I was thinking maybe like an all hail. I don't know.
To me, it's the Hail Mary. We took that shit. We are the team of hail. It's our Hail Mary now.
I mean, Jayden, and here's another comment from Prince Anubis. Second best play of the game is Jayden hopping out of a sack, perfectly timed without looking, just feeling the pressure, which was an amazing. SportsCenter even tweeted out the photo. I can't remember whose photo it was, but it was awesome. Where, yeah, you look at the replay. He didn't look. He did just feel him, and he just jumps at the right time. This man's a freak of nature. I mean, he's unbelievable. Like, it is what Jayden's already done through 8 games. Like the 3rd and 7 to Terry, this Hail Mary, like quarterbacks go seasons without like stuff like this. Just in the first half, he's got 2 iconic plays, KDot. He's been unbelievable.
The story is being written.
Story is being written. We go over to Mr. Payne 134 and shout out again to Prince Anubis for those 2 comments. Appreciate it. Mr. Payne goes, amazing. The curse of the black uniform is gone. Boy, is it. Boy, is it. I mean, what a way to do it, huh? And then Mr. Payne goes, I went nuts. You will remember, before I continue with the rest of the comment, that Mr. Payne was spamming the comment mailbag entering this game. So Mr. Payne was all in on this Chicago rivalry. That was better than the bomb to Terry on Monday night, and that play is classic. KDot, I'm wondering if you disagree here.
Oh no, as far as like from a moment standpoint, nothing beats this. I mean, this is an all-timer. Like in DC sports history, this is the best game winner we've ever had, I think. Like the walk-off, this is the best walk-off ever.
Absolutely.
That being said, like as far from a skillful, like holy shit, I'm just impressed by the Cincinnati bomb is just come on. But the Jayden thing, the most impressive part of the Hail Mary to me is the Jayden moving around before he launches. Now, another part that I didn't add to the stupidity of the Chicago Bears.
QB spy.
Where's Montez Sweat?
He was a bit banged up. He must have known what was coming.
Game's on the fucking line.
He must have known what was coming.
If Sweat's out there, it's different.
You know how some people have premonition? Like, I think that's what happened to Montez.
Maybe.
He's like, I can't be on this field.
This is fucking stupid. They're just so stupid. And shout out to Tyrone Tracy. If he doesn't interfere, if he just stays talking to the fans, we're not having this fucking moment, right? So, like, it's just one of those things where it's like, but the thing to me with Jayden was the moving around, which is like, I don't usually you get guys that just want to get in position to be able to launch the fucking football. That's what I usually see from rookie quarterbacks that take those bombs, right?
Yeah.
What I loved was that he did it not just to be able to set up properly, but to make sure that his guys got down in position the way that they needed to. It felt there was such a dichotomy between how well you can coach the Hail Mary compared to how badly you can coach the Hail Mary. All in that thing.
Yeah, no, that's fair. I think having sat with both, I mean, they're both amazing. It's a 1A, 1B thing for me. Selfishly, there's a small part of me that enjoys the Terry Monday night throw a bit more just because I had to hear the entire draft buildup that Jayden just scrambles away and doesn't stand and deliver. And it was like he does. And it was just so irritating to hear. And then the Tampa Bay game happens and I go, Jesus Christ, if this is his entire career, I was already extrapolating. I was like, come on, like, I know you can stand there. I know you can. And for it to happen that way, some people said that he couldn't. And it was just absolutely sensational to see that. So it was cool. It was a lot of people, man. I was just like, please do it at some point. Game 3 was amazing on Monday night.
Okay, I will say this. I was not with you with the whole rivalry thing. I fucking hate Bears fans.
I hate Bears fans. Oh, it is so annoying.
They're really bad.
They are, and they're vicious. They're like going beyond a line.
Dude, Adam Rank needs to get slapped.
He isn't, dude. The level of delusion in that video, where he's like, "We dominated them the whole game." I was like, "You can't possibly." He gets paid for this, by the way. I'm like, "You can't possibly think that."
Yeah, after seeing his wherever he was outside doing it, I felt bad for doing it, but I did watch his longer form podcast because I wanted to see contextually, like, did he change?
Oh, and then he's talking about Jayden's ribs and like,
bro,
dude,
he needs a blanket. I'm like, dog, what? Like, fuck off.
Yeah, no, it's genuinely like, it's vitriol. Like it's bad.
I don't understand in this debate between Caleb and Jayden how you can't look at everything and know it's clear what's happening. Jayden is absolutely outclassing everybody at this particular point in time. There's no getting around that. That's not to say Caleb's not going to be a potential future fucking Hall of Famer. We don't know that yet.
Yeah, and even I agree with that. I know I rib and I have fun with it because early returns, it makes sense. But like, come on, I don't want him to fail. Like, that's different.
And yeah, if you looked at those final 2 drives with Caleb, that when I saw what that was like, yes, that's the secret sauce. That's the special shit. That's what he can do. Let him do that. Yeah. It's like, I don't understand this debate. I don't understand the vitriol behind it. It's just a lot of people that need to believe in this thing that they have, and no, this is it, and it's fucking delusion. I don't get it.
You know what I think some of it is though, because from the Bears' perspective, right? They could have taken Jayden, and this was supposed to be the season where it was their turn to have Caleb wowing everybody. And so for the very next QB to do it, I think must be very frustrating. Because if I'm putting myself in if I'm putting myself in as a Bears fan for a moment, I would be so upset that it's the next guy that is doing all this stuff. So and it's nothing to do with my guy. I just want my guy to get some respect.
But that's my thing. But that's right? Be upset. So you don't need to turn it on the other guy.
No. I get that. I'm just saying I think this is what's happening.
No, I get you.
Yeah. We go over to Big X. Shout out Mr. Payne. You know, we were starting to talk about all sorts of stuff there. Appreciate it. Big X 4206. Amit and KDot. Terry is having a scary quiet season. Top 10 wide receiver, 4th in total receiving yards, tied 4th for receiving touchdowns. 3 thumbs up on that comment. Terry has been excellent this season, KDot.
No, he's been great. And like I said, it's kind of underrated how it is he's being right now. And it's nice to see what actual competent quarterback play can do for a dude like this. I'm still waiting for the Terry takeover game. Like
he will have one.
But I think that's the thing that'll elevate him, where it's like, well, the conversation that we will be like, oh yeah,
buddy, if he has it, I know we looked ahead with the schedule with Pittsburgh. Assuming we don't get too beat up in that game, because that's going to be a physical ass game. Thursday night. By the way, I'm already thinking about going to that game, which would just be so cool. But Thursday night, if Terry just turns up there, at the link, I mean, that would be that game. Ooh, I love that we're doing this podcast. Fucking awesome. What a time to be doing a Commanders podcast. We go over to House of Minstry. Shout out. On paper, before any game, it looks like a solid team on both sides, but I forgot that none of them ever played together. Knowing each other's habits, it is a growing process that looks like what's on paper. And so, once again, that's speaking to the chemistry. This was the largest roster turnover the franchise has endured. And I'm going to use the word endured in 80 years. And so when we talk about the defense and the offense, it takes time for them to gel. And you definitely see it with the defense in particular, who started slow and have started getting hot as time has progressed. KDot, you got a look on your face. Go ahead.
I think on paper, it lines up with what me and you have thought for quite a while. Offensive lines getting a little more disrespect than they need to because of the play calling last year. We like our wide receivers. Running backs, if they get their opportunities, are pretty fucking good. You were completely right from the get-go as far as Jayden goes. Defensively, Yeah. I mean, I would say that, like, from a talent standpoint, we are overperforming. I would say that. I'd still look on paper and throughout the game. Like, we need a better pass rusher. We need a cornerback who just could take care of shit without having to be schemed into it. Yeah, defensively, I'm looking for a playmaker. Like, outside of Luvu, who, I mean, just depending on what's happening with the game, he has too many responsibilities. There's stuff we fucking need.
Absolutely.
So yeah, I mean, I think the only thing weird about this right now that's happening is Jayden's development and our record.
Yeah, I would agree with that. And here's the other thing. I mean, if you look at the corners, I know Adam Peters has done, first off, hats off to Adam Peters, who's been absolutely magnificent. And you're not going to hit every single one. Right. But if you look at corner, Michael Davis hasn't done anything, right? But get burned when he's been in. And then Noah Igbenogany, who was signed later, was not supposed to be a staple in the secondary, but here we are, right? So, like, of course, there's going to be room to grow talent-wise as well with this defense, and that does take time. Shout out Mikey Sanders still, who is not just playing in the slot. He's playing outside, and he's doing a really good job as a rookie. I mean, the rookie class has been great so far. I mean, absolutely terrific.
Shout out to Sanders still not giving up on the Swift run. He stayed with it.
Yep. We go over to Clarence Thomas. Shout out.
Yeah.
I'm in on Austin Cyborg, who did, once again, a fantastic job in this game. One more shout out and a fuck you to Tony Romo, who managed to slip in saying he hasn't missed all season at home or whatever it was, and then he duffs it. That was annoying. Because as soon as Romo goes, he hasn't missed this, I was like, he's going to miss. And then that shit happened. That was annoying. But love Austin Cyborg so far, KDot. He's been great.
No, he's been great. I still don't know what the fuck happened on that kick. I should have looked at that more.
It's really weird.
I've never,
you don't see other kickers do. That's the thing. Like, it was weird.
It was weird.
Yeah. Well, Clarence Thomas has another one. Advanced user status. It's associated with high tops and black Timberlands. It's considered a pinnacle of energy. I think we're going back to black Air Force ones. Yeah. So I'm continuing to learn. This is awesome.
The black Tims. Like, if I see you wearing black Tims, I'm staying the fuck away from you.
I think that's to Clarence's point.
I get butters, but yeah, black Tims. But in DC, it's like the Nike boot thing, and I don't even know if that's a thing anymore. But I did have some black Nike boots. I did some things well. I used to wear steel-toed Tims to high school.
Steel-toed.
I used to fuck.
Don't tell me you. God damn it! You're the worst.
As a matter of fact, I'll tell you this: Brendan, our buddy who's occasionally on the show, or whatever,
he
still got a scar on his leg.
No, I know that shit hurts. I remember having to play against somebody who had like steel, like heel cleats or whatever, and he was like, "Kick it." I was like, I don't want to kick it. He's like, no, just kick it. I did. A purple toe for 2 weeks. I had no idea it was steel.
Bad shit.
Like,
bad shit.
He's like, pretty cool. I was like, that's not cool. Why'd you tell me to do that?
Best pair of boots I ever had in my life. They cost me. I remember, they were Timberland Pro Series. They were like $300-400. But that steel toe was no joke. Although we get kind of cold during your tips of your toes during winter.
Yeah. Well, glad those days are done. We go over to Gary B. 7193 shout out. The only thing worse than the Bears passing on Jayden are the fans who wanted to trade out of the number 2 pick for additional picks to fortify our offensive line instead. So, look, I love Jayden. I do not fault the scars of fans and wanting to trade back and build the team. Because statistically, you're more likely to whiff than hit. Now, we have hit, and it is amazing, and we can all attest to it. And I wanted to stay in it. I get it. But I just want to express some understanding for those fans that said, hey, trade out. We could build the team and then have it ready so that we could drop the quarterback once it is. I'm very glad we stayed in 2, though. I tell you what, I'm being as nice as possible to create out.
I appreciate the defense of me.
I wasn't going to say it.
No, look.
It's not a bad idea. I get it. I get the rationale.
Here's what I still see, and this is what aggravates me, is that I still see within our fan base the people that wanted Drake May, the people that wanted J.J. McCarthy, the people that wanted Caleb, the people that wanted. I mean, I think I was probably the only guy that really wanted Joe Alt. even though he looks like a stud.
Does look like a stud.
The cognitive dissonance that has to occur within you to not just admit that even if you thought it was the right philosophy, it clearly wasn't the right choice with what happened. Okay. Like you can cop to, hey, maybe if all things being equal, I still would have said 100 times out of 100, this is what I think we should do. But it's worked out on a level where you can admit now, yeah, I was wrong. I don't want anything other than what we have right now. Like just admit that much. And the thing is, the grand thing that I'm starting to realize, and the major takeaway above all takeaways this offseason, trust Adam Peters.
Yeah, he has been. I mean, it's a story that continues to, I don't know if fly under the radar necessarily, but what happens is you glorify the players and then typically the coaches. But we haven't had a GM like this in ages. Like ages. Charlie Casserly, maybe. Like, it has been a while.
Way old Charlie Casserly. But,
yeah, that's fair.
Bobby Beathard.
Bobby Beathard, exactly. Like, it's been ages. To your point, like, Adam Peters has done a fantastic job. I can't remember hitting on second-round picks. Remember the last time we did with that? I mean, it was Cosme, but, like, outside of that, I still remember the Fred Davis, Malcolm Kelly, and, oh gosh, Devin Thomas. You remember all 3 second-round picks in the same year? Yeah, I mean, whiffed them all. So, shout out Adam Peters. I'm totally there with you.
That's the thing, is, like, I'm starting to realize, and this is what I love, because, look, I still, even though I was wrong about the quarterback thing, what I can do is still say, I got the coach and GM stuff.
You definitely
so like
victory lap on those for sure.
So what I'm saying is, like, you build the shit that you got to build, everything's going to go better. Are they going to go Jayden Daniels better? Probably not, but they're going to be better. So, like, here's what I know. Anytime I got an opinion on something about what it is we should do, and Adam Peters does something different, I'm wrong.
Or just that's a good thing.
That's where I'm at now. Right now, that's a good thing. He's right. I'm wrong. Just take back what I said. Like, I'm gonna give you what my input is, but until I'm proven otherwise, Adam Peters is the dude. He knows his shit.
Yeah, no, he definitely knows his shit. And props to you on the Dan Quinn stuff, because I know I wanted Ben Johnson, and a lot of people wanted Ben Johnson or Mike McDonald, stuff like that. And I know initially there was a thought of Mike McDonald, but once you explain Dan Quinn, and this is before he was hired. There are probably only 15 of you at this point, but thanks for sticking with us. But before that, KDot, you clearly laid out, you're like, hey, it's who he knows also. It's his second chance. It's who he knows. He'll be able to bring in the coaches that he wants to bring in. Then you hear about people calling to want to work here. You got an Anthony Lynn. You got a Cliff Kingsbury. You got a Joe Witt. You've got Brian Johnson, who initially were names where we're like, huh? And now you see it and you're like, oh man. Like, this is awesome. So that's a complete victory lap for you. I mean, it's been great so far.
The 2 head coaches at the top of my list, both leading the divisions.
Yes, that is true. Yep, there's also Raheem Morris. So
that's what I was talking about.
No, I know.
Oh, what was that? It felt like you were. I don't know. I kind of missed it. But I felt like you were being disrespectful.
No. It wasn't. There was a brief moment of I wanted to say but then the Carolina Panthers were my side piece team, so I couldn't say anything. That's all that pause was. That's all the pause was.
Fair enough,
I was having a very fun offseason, and then that disastrous pick of a side piece team happened. So here we are. We go to Big Papa Grizzly. Shout out. For 25 plus years, the Commanders were the Bears in that game. The PTSD hit hard at the end, and then Jayden Daniels crowned this man immediately. 8 weeks into the season, and he already has put Caleb Williams and Joe Burrow on a poster with throws that are going to be immortalized in Canton. Call him what you will, but Timothy Daniels is the absolute truth, and the rest of the league was just put on notice. I love that comment.
Evan Lee's been putting on notice every fucking week at this point, man. It's like you're either on the fucking train or you're delusional.
Like those are really the only 2 options at this point. You got media members saying that he's the MVP right now.
I love that every time somebody had a criticism, you got to swallow it unless, once again, you're being delusional. So, like, and I appreciate the people that I respect. So, like, one person in particular that I respect quite a bit that you still don't is Mina Kimes. And, like,
no,
she will admit you hate women. She will admit that, like, she's just Trump energy. It'll all be over soon. We ain't got to deal with it.
She said Dan Quinn was on the hot seat, and I took offense to that. That's my coach.
Enjoy voting for him? At the end of the day, Mina's actually, like, Mina and me shared a lot of the same criticism as far as Jayden in his college days. Was like, hey, he doesn't roll out of the pocket enough to make the
Solak
throws.
as well, I believe, right?
And Solak too.
Yeah.
And if you're going to be legit or want to be taken seriously in any of this shit, you have to admit, oh, he proved me wrong. Yes.
And Mina does that, just to be clear.
No, that's what I'm saying. She's upgraded.
I respect Mina Kimes, just to be clear. It was just that one that was particularly triggering because was it Kevin Cole? He pissed me off too. Because he was also like yes-anding the whole thing. I just didn't like it when it was like Josh Harris is this patient owner historically across sports, and all of a sudden we're putting the new coach that he's finally gotten to choose on the hot seat. I just took offense to it as a fan. It was full fan energy.
Grab by the pussy.
Ridiculous. So we go over to Vindo. Shout out Vindo. I can't wait for the election to be over also. Luck equals preparation meets opportunity. And honestly, I don't think you see a better example of it than how hard everyone has worked. And we know it from the various press conferences, from the media reporting and the beat reporters, from the stories you're hearing about these guys. That was luck, which is preparation meets opportunity in that Hail Mary, because they were all prepared. They were in the right position. You had another guy that wasn't on the Bears in Tyreek Stevenson. It results in an iconic moment for the franchise, KDot.
Yeah. And that's the thing is like, so in all the rewatching of it, Tyreek Stevenson fucking it all up. But I will say this, and the reason I thought about this was the post game from Noah Brown, and then making sure I watched it with intent. Zach Ertz is in a really good spot to bat it up for him.
Mm-hmm.
Ertz is in like perfect position to potentially so while once again, we'll never know because of the low percentage of a Hail Mary, whatever. But it's clear to me if you're watching two teams execute a Hail Mary, one was clearly prepared a lot better than the other one was, and you saw it in the execution of that 100%.
Yeah. Beautifully said there. We go over to Mr. Payne again, 134. Shout out. I still don't have a voice. I taped the game and showed my children why I was screaming and going wild. I haven't felt this way since the night Riggo broke the tackle, Doug destroyed Denver in the second quarter, or Rippon in our offense killed the league. Snyder is the devil. Harris has resurrected us. Hashtag Hail or hashtag Hail Mary is the comment over there. I mean, and there is one more comment from him just adding or her. I can't stop watching it. That's it. I can't stop watching it. KDot, go ahead.
I don't think I watched it today.
I watched it last night before bed.
I didn't say.
I was like, I can't sleep. Let me just open up the laptop. That's not a typical 2 a.m. open up the laptop move. But I was like, let me watch the Hail Mary one more time.
Watches the Hail Mary a few times, goes to bed, and wakes up knowing he had wet dreams.
First time for everything.
I get whatever you got to get in the mode, man.
We go to blood clot.
Hey, baby girl, I need to get in the mood. Let me throw on this Jayden Daniels Hail Mary tape right quick.
I'm not going to lie. I think it would work for me. We go to blood clot. Shout out. Seems like Cliff was messing up a little bit with substitutions and getting the plays out again. So, KDot, you had mentioned this. There was a lot of Jayden wanting to play again and yelling at the sideline. And that one situation when Jayden called timeout because there was the wrong personnel for the play. Those things killed the momentum. When that touchdown got called back because once again, Cosme was too far down the field, that was frustrating. We deserved the win no matter what, and we nearly let it slip through our fingers. Glad we got that W. I think my last comment got deleted, but just wanted to say I was at my in-laws for a family event, watching the game on my phone with my AirPods, and just when I thought our chances were slim to none with 2 seconds left, I was suddenly jumping for joy and yelling. Family members wondering what was wrong with me. Hail and STS, share this shit. That's the comment from Blood Clot. A beautiful comment. I love reading all the joy that was experienced across our fan base because it has been long overdue. And we have dealt with shit ownership. Like I'm very, very happy for everybody reading through these comments, Kate. And he's got a point on Clip as well, which is your point.
Yeah. So something's happening. I don't know exactly how to diagnose exactly what's happening, but something is happening with that. The deserving thing and like who blew it or whatever. Overall, grand scheme of things, we deserve this as a fan base. I love to hear when people talk about that aspect of it. Watching PTI with like Tony and Mike has been amazing recently, just because they're loving it. But in that game itself, I think what you can have a situation within the game where you have two teams that are fucking it up so badly then it just becomes a wash. So like if you win, you deserve it. Right. So like you can go so badly with trying to give it up, both sides, so you're just like, all right, whoever wins this deserved to win it. So like it might have gone all the way so far that it came back around and like, all right, we deserved it. Because initially I'm like, nobody deserved to win that game. I'm like, yeah, we both kind of fucked that up.
Yeah. Oh, certainly. Certainly. It was weird because I understood Bears fans when the reasonable ones, mind you, that were like, hey, we didn't really deserve to win that game. But the way it happened was like, what the fuck? Right. And then for us, it was like, man, we deserved it. But at the same time, we didn't because of the penalties, because shooting ourselves in the foot, and because in the fourth quarter, which is what you said, like, Caleb Williams turned it on. DeAndre Swift, they were running at will. There's nothing we could do. So like, it was a bit of both, to your point.
I think when you see both teams doing the dumb shit that both teams did, it feels almost, you know what it is? It feels wrong that one team gets to celebrate so heartily while one other team feels so much heartbreak. Knowing what both teams did over the course of the game. It truly, the fairest thing for that game, if we're talking about like, is a tie. It should have been both of us leaving that game being, motherfucker, why did we win?
And there are different types of ties too. They're like the glorious ties, like, man, both teams played well. And then there's the tie that this would have been, which is like, what the fuck did we just watch? We flexed.
At least not a Ron Rivera tie. You can do that.
No, that's true. Oh my God. Forgot about, oh my God. Anyway, we go over to, Lautaro Cabrera, former co-host of the show, LC. Shout out. KDot mentioning the hand of God in the first 5 minutes got my vote. Of course, LC Argentinian, little Diego Maradona over there. So shout out LC with the comment. Immediately loved it. He actually did text me also. He's like, dude, what was going through your head? I was like, there's a podcast, baby. You were on it. And so he ended up tuning in. So
I don't know if you're at this point, but like anyone that calls me to talk about Commander shit, the first question I have, did you watch the pod?
Yeah. No? Oh, I'm in share the shit mode. I'm like, there's a podcast for that. You can get
like, yeah, I'm straight up like, or in between when we record and like the game is over, like Brennan calls me, of course, and I'm like, I'm not talking about the Commanders until you watch the pod. Like, I'm not gonna rehash this shit. Just
correct.
The pod. So we're there. We're there.
We're absolutely there, and especially this season, so many people reaching out. And just like, I'm just replying, no words, link. they're just like, well, it was good to hear from you. We go over to, the aforementioned Brendan Nichols.
Oh, motherfucker.
Shout out. KDot, how well did JJ McCarthy describe his Hail Mary technique in his interview? I thought it was funny.
I know you do.
Okay. We can move on to the next one.
I don't feed trolls.
All right, fair enough. Shout out, Brandon. We go over to
son of a bitch.
We go to Pally for life. How about that for a welcome voice? Shout out. Jim Nantz call was electric. It's a miracle. Will echo in my head for a long time. We're on to New York. Share this shit.
No doubt. Credit to Nantz.
Incredible call. Incredible.
Especially because I was not enjoying their calling of the game thoroughly.
Second time they've called our game, and I wasn't enjoying it. Yep. But you got to give it to him. When the moment arrives, Nantz is very, very good at it. So shout out there. We go over to Northwest Kidmark. Shout out. I'm so glad Jayden is QB1 and is improving as well as Washington. They still continue to be amazing, and I'm happy about this turnaround for real. Glad we won. 6-2 is amazing. A few clapping emojis, a prayer emoji, smiling. The party poppers. It's a great time for us as fans. It's 6-2. I'm going to throw this in with Jess Santos' comment as well. So shout out, and we will conclude with Jess Santos' comment here. I don't believe I've missed any. I've unchecked I haven't responded and all that stuff. So hopefully haven't missed any. And it goes, the last game set the NFL on fire. It was an epic finish. There still remains a lot of work to be done. Daniels has been everything I've ever wanted in a quarterback. It seems like whenever a defense limits our running game, it really offsets the entire offense. I also think Kingsbury needs to move up to a booth. I think that's where the communication errors are occurring. Too much noise and chaos on the sidelines. As far as the defense, they continue to grow. It would be great to add another corner before the trade deadline, but Peters and co. are probably drafting one. At this point in the year, you'd probably be overpaying for one. The defense dominated the Bears and beat the hell out of Williams on Sunday. Yet they had a fourth quarter breakdown and gave up 2 scores. I'm fully expecting a dominant performance against the Giants. Anything else would be uncivilized. They need to make an example out of those dirt merchants and remind people that last week's win wasn't luck. Love the show, fellas. Share this shit. KDot, your response to Jess as well as Northwest.
No, you're the fucking shit. I mean, we love it. I will say this. I know we have a hard stop, like it is here right now.
Right.
If I'm not mistaken, you did not read Jim Sleazy's comment, who I am not the biggest fan of, but he does have a comment.
Oh, Sleazy's got one?
I can read it if you want me to.
Yeah, please do. Oh, I see it. You want me to read it?
Up to you.
You read it.
Yeah, hey. Jim, love and hate relationship with you, buddy. I think I'm a hater. Yeah, we know, Jim. No
Already
man,
the right choice.
No man should have such a charmed life like Jayden. Damn, Heisman Trophy winner, rookie of the year is a lot because he's performing like an MVP candidate. He's tall and good looking, so you know he's drowning in pussy. Besides screaming and arguing the top OC in the league to get the play in quicker, he's never not have $1 million smile on his face. That Hail Mary was gift wrap. You can't hate Caleb because he's playing like a typical rookie, but you can hate Jayden because nobody's supposed to be the best player on the field after playing 8 games with bruised ribs. Sleazy, all is forgiven, buddy.
That is awesome. you know what he does? He goes, man, he's got everything. Man, fuck Jayden. Fuck this dude.
True fucking hater, man. Love that shit. At least you know who he is. I love that shit, man.
That actually might be my favorite comment. He goes, you know what? Jayden taught me. I am a hater. I do hate that guy.
Good shit.
He's a rookie playing like an MVP. What do you want from me? Drowning in pussy. But come on. He's got everything. That was an electric comment mailbag.
Good job, Jim.
This was the show. This was District Divided, a DC Sports Podcast. More specifically, a Washington Commanders podcast. Thank you guys so much for listening to today's episode. I'm Amit. That is KDot. And if you enjoyed it, please like the video, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell, comment as you always do, get a copy of the Gibbs Bible, and KDot.
Drown in it. Don't grab it, Amit. And then share that shit.
Share this shit. We greatly appreciate it. For the record, I did not vote for Trump.
Yeah.
After the pod begins right now.
Are we doing one?
Yeah, we could do a couple.
Oh, shit. All right. I wasn't prepared at all.
Right.
I was ready to hit the fucking egg.
No, because I want to talk about the New York Yankees. I don't know if you saw the World Series yesterday.
Uh-huh.
I have never seen anything like the top of the 5th inning. I was watching it live. I have never, ever, let alone in a World Series, seen anything like that. Aaron Judge hadn't made an error in the outfield since 2017.
Yep.
And then Anthony Volpe. Did he win the Golden Glove at shortstop, if I heard that correctly? Skips one to third base. Then you got a Cy Young winner in Garrett Cole that inexplicably doesn't run to first base all in the same inning. And if he does, it's 5-0. I could not believe what I saw, KDot. It was also because I bet with Matt Regan and lost because I bet on the Yankees. And I was just like, come on. You got to be kidding me. I have never seen anything like that. I just need to.
I've been avoiding talking about this all day.
Well, it's a quick after the pod.
All right. So,
after the pod.
Once again, I think I've told this story on the pod. I grew up a Yankees fan, diehard, being that I'm from DC and we didn't have a baseball team.
Correct.
And I hated Peter Angelos in Baltimore. So it was easy to go to Baltimore to see games, and the Yankees were always in town. And because they're the Yankees, they were very easy to follow. I know this is Commanders podcast, but I have to be honest. The worst I've ever felt in sports fandom in my life was the 2004 ALCS against the Red Sox. It's the worst I have ever felt. I am no longer a card-carrying Yankees fan. Peter Angelos died, and I live in Baltimore, so I was like, I'm going to adopt the Orioles. But it's been hard because I have to admit my heart has been crushed since last night.
Oh.
And there's an anger in me that like the Yankees are not supposed to play like this. And it's so far removed from what I remember that team being to have that sort of fucking showing. It's Steinbrenner would have murdered someone by now.
Oh, for sure.
It's just tough. I don't want to talk about my Yankees fandom all that much because I
don't have to.
like it.
I just needed to vet because I lost $10. but I was like, oh, come on. It was so we could move on from that. But I've never seen anything like that, and not from a storied franchise like the New York Yankees, who are star-studded across the board. You expect more.
Just trash. That's such a trash way to fucking go.
I gotta shout out
the Dodgers, man. Like I get people that are like, yeah, I understand people being happy the Yankees lost. I get it. I'm not defending it. I understand. Hating the Yankees. I understand it completely. Hating the Yankees is like hating the Cowboys, hating the Lakers. I look at it as a character flaw for me. I get it, but fuck the Dodgers. Like it's not like they were some like scrappy young team.
This wasn't David versus Goliath.
Right, fuck that.
Goliaths.
Like, fuck the Dodgers. Like, what, you see that payroll? Fuck them.
Yeah. I mean, it's the same. I wanted to actually shout out because I had bet on the series with Matt. I love that 7-8-9 going for the Yankees. I was like, they keep stepping up. This is nice between Volpe, Wells, and Verdugo. I was like, okay. Like, when's Judge waking up? He hits the home run. I was like, okay, here we go. Then Chisholm, that was such a go hard bat flip when he just turns over and looks at them. I was like, oh, here we go. Series on. Here we go. Ugh.
A sweep in the baseball is not fun ever.
Yeah. So.
And I actually say playoff baseball, in my opinion, is the most exporting thing in sports.
Oh, it's electric. It's electric.
There's just so much drama built into everything. It's nuts.
It is so fun. It is so fun. But now baseball is over. So now we're going to get 90% football coverage. We'll get a little bit of basketball. Wizards, young Wizards are looking pretty fun right now.
Yeah, shit.
Yeah.
Fucking Hawks, pieces of shit.
Yeah, no, I know. The Hawks suck. But like, it's fun seeing, and Bob Carrington even said this in his postgame, that the coaches were talking. They're like, do you realize what you're doing? 19, 20 years old, etc. And he's like, yeah, 4/5 starting lineup can't drink. He's like, yeah, it's kind of crazy that we're on an NBA floor together starting, and it's fun, and it's fun because they're putting in the work defensively. We know we're part of a rebuild, and that is the antithesis of what the formerly known as Redskins, etc., where the expectation is Super Bowl with just a bunch of duct tape versus these guys are actually rebuilding, going, hey, we're not going to be good this year, but we're going to try and we're going to play hard defense and we're going to grow together. And they're giving you that so far, only 4 games in, but I don't doubt that that's going to be the experience the entire season. It's an exciting time to be a sports fan in DC. The Caps are doing well right now. The Nats are building. The Wizards are building. The Commanders are just the most fun team in the NFL right now, KDot.
The only thing I hope for I hope for the Wizards, like at any given point in time right now, because look, in my opinion, at any given point, barring injury, there's only really 2 to 3 true contenders for a championship every basketball year, just because that's the way it kind of works now. Yep. So if you're not going to be that, Ryan Russillo, Bill Simmons always talk about it. You want to be a league pass team. You want to be a team where if it's a Wednesday night, it's nothing else on, you could turn on basketball and have a good fucking night. Mm-hmm. And this Wizard team look like they're going to be that. Yeah. I think the goal from what I can discern so far is sort of be that baby OKC, be a really, really young team, be fun to watch, lose a lot, but pick up draft picks in the meanwhile, build a culture. And so it's fun times. Any final thought? Oh, and shout out the Washington Spirit. They play their quarterfinal game. They've been ravaged with injuries, but they play their quarterfinal game this coming Saturday. See if they can go on a bit of a run as well. It'll be very, very cool for them. And DC United sucks. They're terrible. They're awful. There's nothing to be said over there. So I have no idea.
Yeah, that's fine. All right. That's the show. We'll see you guys later. Till then, take it easy.
Bye.
In DC, we're just hoping that you listen.